All right, from our standing position, let's take our feet out a little bit wider than hip width distance apart. And then I want you to partially close your eyes. So find a single spot to gaze at. And then I want you to soften your eyelids. Find one spot that can remain in focus while everything else remains out of focus. Then soften your knees. And then we're going to move our hips to the right, back, to the left, forward, right, making kind of small circles as we keep our gaze on that one spot. And then the next time our hips come back, I want you to pause and reverse the direction. And as we make these circles and we continue this movement, I want you to notice any movement in your hips that feels stuck. Doesn't feel like it moves as easily as everything else. And then come back to center. And I want you to lift one heel, doesn't matter which one. Put it down, lift your other heel. And then just continue to lift one heel at a time. Feeling your weight shift side to side. Keeping your spot on that one point. Everything else around it is soft and out of focus. Then we're going to lift one foot, bringing our knee up, and then the other foot, keeping your gaze on that one spot. Let your marching of your feet return your stance back to neutral for you. As you lift your foot, you can challenge the height of your knee, but make sure you're not moving your low back. So your low back remains in the same shape. And then we're going to put our feet down. Keep our feet in a neutral position. We're going to turn our heads side to side. Then begin to march out your feet again. Start with something small, maybe just lifting the heels. Start to lift your feet as it feels right for you. Then bring our head back to center, bring our feet to center. We're going to bring our chin down towards our chest and lift it up. Bring it down. Doesn't have to be a big movement. And lift it up. Just continue to move our head up and down. Try not to push our head forward. We're keeping our neck neutral. Our head neutral as we lift it up and down. Then lift one heel at a time. Then begin to lift one foot at a time. Bringing our feet to center. Keep moving our head up and down. And turn our head side to side. Bring our head to center. Step our right foot back to a warrior one stance. So the toes are going to be turned out slightly and both heels are going to be on the ground. Hips are going to be facing the front of our mat. From here, turn our head side to side. Shift our weight forward into our front foot and then our back foot. As we do, we're turning our head, and I want you to lift your front toes when you're ready and then lift your back heel when you're ready. If the movement feels comfortable for you, feels easy, then you're going to lift your front foot and back foot. Doesn't have to be high. And then come back to center. Step our front back foot forward and our left foot back. Turn our head side to side. Start to lift our front toes, then our back heel. If it feels okay for you, lift your front foot and then your back foot. Come back to center, stepping our back foot forward. And then we're going to step in a place where we can have our right foot back again. Sorry, my mat keeps moving around. Right foot comes back a little bit. And then we're going to bend our front knee and keep our heel on the ground. Straighten our leg, bend our knee. Straighten our leg. Make sure that as we bend and straighten that we're keeping our knee in line with our toes, so right down the center of our toes, just for right now. And that we're not rotating through our front hip. We're keeping our hips facing forward. Our toes remain light, but our front heel stays down. You can start to lift your back heel if you like, taking a little more weight. Finding that end range of motion through our ankle and stabilizing it with weight. Then start to move our knee out towards our pinky toe. Just tracking over our pinky toe. It's okay if our knee goes beyond our toes, as long as it's our range of motion. We're keeping that front heel down. There is no pain or discomfort with it. We're just strengthening our range of motion. Then bring our knee over our big toe. Heel stays down. Keeping that heel firm against the floor. Find one more. And then we're going to switch legs. Right leg is slightly forward, left foot slightly back. Your back leg can be in any position that feels comfortable. Bending our front knee. We're not leaning forwards. We're not keeping our weight forward. We're keeping our weight centered over our legs. And then straighten and bend, letting our knee stay in line with our toes. Right down the center of our foot. Letting our back heel lift only if we're ready to take that much weight. That means there's no pain, no discomfort. Keeping shoulders over hips, keeping that front heel down. Everything else is in place and it feels easy, like you need a little more challenge in that ankle joint. Then lift your back heel, but only when you're ready. Then we're going to take knee out towards the pinky toe. Then taking knee over the big toe. Don't rotate, so we're keeping the hips facing forward. Then bringing our knee back up, we're going to step our left foot forward. Both feet are going to step forward to the front of our mat. Inhale, sweep our hands up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Bend our knees, rise all the way up. Exhale, chair, sinking our hips back. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, chair. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, chair. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Releasing our hands to our side. We're going to step to our wall, placing one hand on the wall. It doesn't matter which one we work with. So whatever one you can see me best is the one I want you to start with. Take your hand to the wall and you're going to shift your weight to the same leg that you have closest to the wall. Your other leg, you're just going to slide back so that your toes barely touch the floor. Now I want you to notice the shape of your spine. We're staying completely upright. We're neutral. Our standing knee is soft. Our head is pulled back. Our upper back is flat. We're going to keep this shape from our tailbone all the way up to the crown of our head. As we start to lean or tip forward, we're not leaning, we're tipping forward, and we're going to let our back leg lift up as we tip forward. As you get to a place that's your end of range motion for right now, I want you to drive your back heel back. Hips are staying facing the floor together, equally balanced. Then slowly come up, tap the floor, and hinge from our standing leg hip. And come back up and repeat. Spine is not changing shape. You may notice that your range of motion increases the more that you do this. Let's find one more. And come up. All right, we're going to bring our foot underneath us. Release the wall. Shake out our hands, our arms, our shoulders. Move our legs. Just find some general movement through our body, releasing any stiffness or tension we found in that movement. Now we're going to turn it around. So this is where you probably won't be able to see me as well, depending on your space. Opposite hand comes to the wall. Shift our weight to the leg closest to the wall. Kick your outside leg back. You can start with a bent knee. Make sure your standing leg is soft. It should be bouncy. Then we're going to lift that back foot, tip over, keeping our weight centered over our right leg. And then come back up. Our hips are staying lined, so we're not letting that back hip open, which is what it's probably what I want to do. And then come back up, or just repeating this movement, keeping a nice long flat back. Letting our hands stay light on the wall. Any shaking is okay. It's just your body stabilizing the movement. Notice if your range of motion has increased. Find one more. And then step your foot in. We're going to turn around, step to the front of our mat. And then on our next inhale, let's sweep our hands up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Walk both feet back, plank. Lower all the way down to our bellies. Inhale, cobra, opening our heart. Exhale, lower down, hug our bellies in. Press up and back to child's pose. Letting our hips sink back. Letting our chest soften towards the floor. Remember, if our head doesn't make it to the floor, then we're supporting our head with props, whether those props be our hands, a towel, a block, anything that you have that supports your body comfortably. lifting our elbows, lifting our head, walk our hands over to the right and lower down if it feels good for you. Remembering you can bring your props with you. And rise up, walk our hands back to center, and then over to the left. Lowering down to what feels good for us. Slowly rise back up. Walk our hands to center. Walk our hands underneath us. And then we're going to grab our blocks, bring them in front of us. Level 2, about shoulder width apart. Then we're going to take our forearms to the blocks, sinking our hips back into that child's pose position. We're going to lower our chest down. And then I want you to drive your forearms into the blocks and pull your shoulder blades back. Feeling your shoulder blades reach for your hips. Then we're going to walk the elbows forward a little bit more. And then reach our hands up to the ceiling. And start to draw our thumbs back towards our upper back. Maybe turn our gaze forward a little bit if that feels better for our head, neck, or shoulders. And releasing our hands forward. Lift our head. And then we're going to lift our chest. Walk our hands onto the blocks. Hands back towards our knees. We're going to place our blocks off to the side. Then walk or crawl forward to the front of our mat. And we're going to flip over onto our back. When we get to our back, we're going to extend our arms out a little bit. And I want you to notice how your upper back feels. Letting your shoulders soften down. We're going to bend our elbows, let our fingertips point up to the ceiling, and then check in with our head and neck. Make sure that they're neutral. Notice that the back of our shoulders are resting on the floor. We're going to keep them that way as we draw our hands back behind us. And for some of you, this may be easy to reach the hands back, and that's okay. What I want you to become familiar with is how you feel in your shoulders. Then lift our hands up, keep the back of our shoulders on the floor. Let our fingertips come forward and point down towards the floor. Push the back of our shoulders down into the mat. Then let our hands come forward and soften towards the floor as we keep our shoulders pressing down. Slowly lifting our hands up. From here, we're going to take our left hand and reach it over towards our right shoulder. Keep your right arm where it is. Walk your feet over to the left a little bit, and then we're going to lift our hips, roll to our right side, and lower our hips down. And then we're going to come up, take a block, support our head. So I'm going to move so you can see this from the front view. Your right arm's in front of you. Support your head wherever you're at. And then your right hand is reaching down just like you had before. I want you to take your left hand to your hip and continue to allow your right hand to relax down to the floor. Then take our left hand, place it on top of our right forearm, and hold. And slowly lifting our right hand up. We're going to roll to our other side. As you roll to the other side, make sure that you're finding your joint stacks. So ankles, knees, hips, left arm's in front of you, head is supported. Right hand's going to come to your hip. With your left arm extended out in front of you, bend your elbow and draw your hand towards your face. Then rotate your palm so that your fingertips point towards your feet. Then let your hand come down. Then take our right hand, place it on top of our left forearm, and just let it rest. Releasing our right hand back to our hip, lift our left arm up, then take our right hand in front of us, press ourselves up, and we're going to roll onto our backs. Draw our knees into our chest and give them a hug. Releasing our feet down to the mat. Interlace our fingers behind our head. Let our elbows come out wide, shoulder blades flat on the floor. Then lift our elbows up. Notice that our shoulder blades and our upper back are still fairly neutral. Close our eyes. Allow our face to soften, our head to get heavy, our neck to relax. Then we're going to take our forearms and gently squeeze our head. Find our breath long, slow, and even. With this gentle squeeze, lift our head up off the floor to hover, and then slide our hands up our head a little bit. Tucking our chin. Slide our hands up a little bit more. A little bit more. Moving our hands towards the top of our head, but not quite there. And slowly lower our head down. Let our elbows come out. Release our hands from behind our head. And pause with our chest open. Shoulders relaxed. Then bring our arms back to our side. Grab a hold of one of our blocks. With knees bent, we're going to lift our hips up off the mat and slide a block underneath our hips. Then I want you to hug your shoulder blades close together. Lift our chest up. Let our chin relax down. And then I want you to feel your rib cage lift up just a little bit and feel your weight shift back into the top of your shoulders. Releasing our shoulder blades. Lift our hips up off the block. Release the block. Come all the way down. Take a moment to pause before we get ready to set up for Shavasana. I want you to notice how you feel through your body as a whole. And when you're ready, you can support your position any way you like. Keeping our eyes closed. Allow our body to let go. To completely soften. drawing our awareness back to our bodies. Allow our breath to deepen. Bending our knees, let's roll over to our right side. Keeping our eyes closed, let's press ourselves up and find our way back to a comfortable seat. As we find our seated position, tip our pelvis forward, lengthen our spine, lift our chest. Feel our head gently pull back. Feel how our belly supports this upright position. Bringing our hands together in front of our heart, we're sealing in all that we found in this practice today. With balance, shoulders, taking all of it as a gift of learning, a gift of exploring, a gift of finding out how we move, where we need work, and where we feel solid. Taking that as a gift off of our mat to use throughout the rest of our day and the days to come. Namaste.